The day for fools has passed us, so we can now tell you the true facts, like our favorite Kickstarter picks for the week of April 1st, 2019.
Blood on the Clocktower is a very expansive and expensive, for that matter, social deduction game from the Pandemonium Institute. Essentially, this is a game in the style of Werewolf or Mafia. If you're familiar with those, I think it'd be right at home here, wherein this time around it is a demon that is infesting the town, and players are trying to figure out where the demon or demons, as the case may be, are, who they are, and kill them before the game is over. What differentiates this one from Werewolf is a few things. For one, everyone has a special, unique role, no matter what. There's no just a regular villager or whatever. Everyone has some kind of special power or unique goal. The other big thing is that the moderator, I believe it's called storyteller in this version, has a much more interactive part of the game. They're not only interacting with people as things go on, but they can also lie. They can actually direct the story. The rulebook actually instructs the storyteller to potentially help one side if they see them losing. It's a little bit more of a dungeon master vibe or game master. And also, once a player is dead, you become a ghost and you are still involved in the game. You can still talk to people. You will lose your special ability, but you have other things that you can do. You can still impact certain votes during the game. So those are the main core things that are going on here. This game I've seen got a ton of hype. Shut Up and Sit Down did a big review that was very, very, very filled with praise. And people who've played it at conventions have said it's fantastic. It's gotten a lot of buzz.
That's interesting because hearing you talk about it, first thing that comes to mind is the idea that the storyteller can lie and help the sides. I can just picture if I tried to do that, like in our group of players, people would be pissed.
Well, I think you would establish beforehand maybe that's a possibility.
And they would piss them off right off the bat. Second, I know this is just more of a me thing, and I don't think this is the game's problem unlike the first one, but I know I actually like getting the no power villager. And finally, I know in our group too, if I get the demon role, all I can think of is being that Tim and Eric sketch going, I'm a demon.
Yeah, well, you could and would do that. Yeah, I mean, I'll confess, looking at this, my first thought was, it sounds fun, but it also sounds, to me, not that different from other social deduction games. I mean, those things are cool, but, so the asking price for this one is $79, and that does not include shipping. And you're getting a lot of stuff like, there's a big box with like a felt interior where the storyteller's keeping track of things, so I think some of that price is justified, but for what it is, it is a large price. But everyone that I hear talk about it has said that it's one of their favorite
Absolutely. You never know until you actually play it.
Take a look at it. If you have a large group that likes these kinds of games, it's the kind of game that sounds like that you really want like a night for, almost like a 2 Rooms and a Boom is another perhaps similar example. If you have a group that's ready for it and you want to spend $79, check out Blood on the Clocktower.
Next, we're going to AEG, where they are bringing the Valley of the Kings Premium Box Edition. This is a huge box for their Valley of the Kings games. That game before this already had 3 sets out called Valley of the Kings, and then has some other little tags. I've actually played 2 of them, and I'm pretty sure we have talked about them on the show before. It's a deck building game where pretty much you are trying to build the best tomb for the afterlife. And the way that you're going to do that is the cards you play, sometimes you'll put them in your tomb, meaning you're going to have to decide if you want to be able to have them in your deck for abilities and buying power, or for victory points at the end. And depending on what cards you have, because of the different sets, whether you're drinking full sets or more of the same type of card, a lot of different things. It's sort of like Dominion, where you decide which sets of cards to throw in there. And this includes all the cards on the previous sets in new tarot card size. I believe they said the size of Mystic Veil, about that size. And fits all in one box, including some other new goodies and stuff. And I do feel a little weird with the fact that they're changing it to tarot size, because part of it feels like, oh, that way, if you already have 1 or 2 boxes, you want to have to get this whole thing to get the full set of stuff. But at the same time, this was a game I liked a lot. And of course, a box that holds everything is really nice instead of 3 small ones. The go around with, and the bigger cards can help around too with just feeling like it's better. And it was a really fun game that I do want to play more.
I think I've played this one, right?
I think you did.
I think like once, but I remember liking it. I think that this makes sense to me as a Kickstarter because it's the kind of thing, you know.
That's the other thing too. That it's a Kickstarter, so it's not like
if you're happy with what you have. Because for me, I also would think that part of the appeal of that was that it was a little box and you could just throw it in your bag.
And you can still have that if you want this one small, but this is the way you can have everything there. It comes with a randomizer too, so you can finally just use the deck cards for randomizing, which is nice. And it's for $50, which if you think of the price of 3 of those boxes for one big box or whole new cards is pretty nice.
That sounds reasonable, yeah.
Yeah. So if you are looking to plan forward for the afterlife, AEG's got your back.
District 9 was a Neil Blomkamp science fiction film about aliens who were established on Earth, and in South Africa they were put into this little ghetto neighborhood and basically oppressed. Anyway, you can go watch that movie. But this is the board game that is now being made 10 years later based on that film and being published by Weta Workshop, the actual studio who did the design and effects for that movie. So, you know, at the very least, they have some background here. They have some credibility in this field. The game itself has players taking the roles of different factions, could be human or alien, and you are fighting over different territories of that region. It actually takes place over 3 days, the same 3 days that occurred in the movie. So there will be different events that go on in the background. While you're not playing as any of the main characters from that movie, it does something I remember similarly from the BioShock Infinite game from Plaid Hat, where the main characters are sort of game controlled and they're there in the mix doing kind of their own thing that may affect your plans as well. And what you're trying to do is uncover new kinds of tech in the different regions that you're in, and if you find them, you can build better weapons, better mechs, etc., so you can do cool alien explosions and things. Lots of minis in this game. It's a big old mini game.
Now, before I approach the game, I think you will agree with me on this. Definitely go see the movie. It's really good.
If you missed it somehow 10 years ago, which maybe you have, but yeah, it's one that I really love. That's why, if it weren't for that theme, I would not have looked at this game.
I have another one of their games that isn't based on a property that I know of.
It's the GKR?
Yeah.
I believe that's their first game. Yeah.
We'll eventually get to reviewing and playing and stuff, and you haven't even, I think, seen it. But the miniatures, I will say, very nice. Like, the ones I have are actually painted too already and stuff, so you know, you don't have to feel bad for having a gray sculpt. I am a little worried because, like you mentioned, BioShock, and we played BioShock, and to me, the board game sort of missed what the video game was about and what the theme of it made it good. And I feel like District 9, the theme isn't just fighting for the sake of fighting. There's, you know, without saying too much.
Yeah, no, I definitely see where you're coming from. I think that's my concern as well with this game. I look at it and I kind of just see, oh, it's dudes on a map. They're gray or maybe yellow or red, and you're fighting over territory. It's not, but I kind of like the way that they're taking it in that, well, it does fit in with the movie events, and these are the people who helped work on the movie. So maybe there's something there. So while it doesn't super excite me, I'm interested enough that I think it hopefully will be a good game. It goes for $99. Again, a lot of minis in this thing, so you got to be in it for all of that if you want to purchase District 9, the board game.
Next, we're going to calm down by the river with Freshwater Fly from Bellwether Games. This game is all about fly fishing. You will take turns casting your line, where it may either be able to catch a fish or maybe drift downstream until it does. Then you may get the chance to reel in, and depending where your reel is, you also get special effects. And then, of course, you'll have to work on your finesse, which can give you little bonuses along the way, because, you know, it's all in the wrists. But the game itself looks like a fun set collecting game with fish, and the way that the dice work, it's not simply just roll a die to see if you catch the fish. You have to, and getting all the different abilities depending where you want to roll, so you might not want to reel in as fast as you can because you want a certain ability. And I thought that was really cool. And of course, I like seeing a lot of pictures of animals, and there's a lot of different weird fish to collect and different set bonuses at the end. The game ends when someone catches 7 fish, but there's so many other bonuses that can occur. It doesn't seem like well, he got the 7, he's obviously the winner. And so that looked like a really cool set collecting game to me, I felt.
Yeah.
And Also, the real, actually, you do move it like in a spinning thing, I should mention. So that's sort of fun that you actually.
Yeah, I feel like there've been a few fishing board games, but not that many. And this seemed like it took it in an interesting, found an innovative way to simulate that. Which was, yeah, I thought this one looked cool too. Maybe I'll fly fish.
Well, maybe not. Well, if you're a father, this could be a good compromise with your kid and arguing whether to take him fishing or not.
Or if you're a kid, maybe a Father's Day present.
Ooh, maybe, yeah. It goes for $49, and that's Freshwater Fly.
Sideshow Swap is a quick, simple little game from Cannonball Arcade, reminiscent of something along the lines of Love Letter. This is a small filler game that you can play in just 5 minutes or so, where there are different cards. Each one represents a circus performer, so it could be a bearded lady, strong man, lion tamer, one of those old-fashioned type of circus performers, and each one of them has a certain number of points, and you are trying to get the one with the most points before the game ends. So everyone's going to have one card in front of them, and it's a secret. Only you get to know which one you have, and you're going to be playing tickets as the game goes on. And those tickets might do things like make two players swap their cards with each other, or swap your own, or swap yours with one from the center of the board and try to get a better card. And the game ends when either the entire deck of tickets runs out, or when just one player spends their last ticket. You can also buy more tickets with, there's a currency as well. So you need to decide, when do I want to play these tickets, because maybe you have one that's good for you, but if it's your last one and you don't think that you have the card with the most points attached to it, you want to hold on to it. So I thought that sounded like there's some interesting strategy in that. The theme just seems goofy and silly. There's not much to it, but for a quick little game, it sounded like a fun one.
That sounds definitely cool. I like the idea of sort of adding that little extra thing to like the Love Letter, as you said. Mm-hmm. I really do hope that, I mean, their company's called Cannonball Arcade. I hope that they include the guy that, takes a cannonball to the stomach.
I'm sure they do. You can check out the video. They show a lot of other very weird ones. Again, that's Sideshow Swap, and it goes for $20.
Finally, we're going to join Grand Gamers Guild to save some animals in Endangered. In this game, you will take on the role of different sort of conservationists trying to help out an animal species and save their home and the species themselves before it's too late. To do so, you're going to have to stop deforestation, try to get different diplomats from different countries on your side, which will give different abilities, and in order to pull it all together so the animal can survive with enough home so it can actually thrive by itself. The game itself does look pretty cool, and the different abilities and stuff, and it is something that sort of shows how that even if you try to get enough people on board, if enough deforestation happens, it's too late. And so I was very curious to see how this game turns out, and hopefully get a chance maybe to play it in the future.
Yeah, I mean, you can't knock them for the theme and the efforts behind it. I took a glance at this one, and I was pleased to see that it's not just a game for the movement to spread the word. It actually looks like there is an interesting game there with interesting depth and mechanics in addition to an important message.
Yeah, there's a lot of different things. Like I said, the part of it is not just, you have to get the diplomats and try to get them on your side, which give different abilities, and you also have to look at the forestation, regrowing that area, almost like Castle Panic kind of style. You have different fronts you have to protect, except it's more of, you're not all in a castle, it's more of, there's the tiger you have to make sure it doesn't get surrounded by orcs. Yeah. No orcs in this that I know.
They're endangered too, we gotta look out for the orcs. Depends on the lore.
The game goes for $50, and that is Endangered.
Those were the picks. You kicked them, we picked them, or something like that.
Or you may be kicking them.
Yeah, you may decide to kick them if you want to. Let us know. There will be links in the description below so you can find all of these, see what you think. Are you willing to put all that money into a game like Blood on the Clocktower or District 9? Do you think those are worth it? Or do you want one of maybe the smaller ones like Sideshow Swap? I don't need to rename them. You just watch this, talk about it. Let us know in the comments.
I like how you named all yours. Wow.
Mine were the only ones I didn't listen to when you were talking. Where did you listen? Talk to us below. Also on Facebook, social media, Instagram, everywhere else. Check out the description. Until next time, I'm Jonathan.
I'm Will.
And this was Kickstarter Pickstarter. Make sure you click the like and subscribe buttons so you get more board game content from Roll for Crit.
Do it. Do it now.